bullies? I bet my socks he did.
Damn.
Lucky I don't even remember anyone from my old neighborhood. Well, except for that one Nancy who spat his drink in my face years ago. You better pray I don't find him.
So, you're just going to call it that? Despite what I told you, you're just going to call it an obsession?
Isn't it?
Of course it isn't! Didn't I already tell you?
Did it ever cross your mind how your man would feel about all this?
You think I've never thought of that? Listen here, you.
Listen here.
Or were you expecting he'll simply feel the same all because of some shared history you have? Because fun fact, Daisy, feelings change and people most definitely also change with time. Whoever that person was 10 or 20 years ago, whatever idea you have of them floating inside your head, they won't be the same now.
What are you trying to get at?
Suppose that man of yours wants something else for himself. What if he never returns your feelings, the way you so desperately want him to?
That's not going to...
Are you going to beg? Tell him to choose you instead? Or are you going to lash out at the poor woman or man who happened to catch your man's attention?
My voice falters. His eyes focus on me. The piece of paper he's been folding earlier now left forgotten in the space between us while he waits for my response. However, I can't give him one. He's already aware of that, and it shows in his face when his lips form a lopsided smirk. How can I when I've had my suspicions all along? One that rears its ugly head every time I simply see the two of them in the same room.
I hit a nerve, didn't I?
That's none of your business.
It's true, though. The poor bloke doesn't have any obligation to return your precious feelings, nor can you force him to. That wouldn't be right.
If you're just going to mock me, we might as well sew your bloody mouth shut this instant.
Now, no need to get violent. But come on, 20 years? Gordon, Bennett, if nothing's happening past that mark, you might as well consider your options, woman. Even I wouldn't last that long.
Stop it.
One of these days, I'd like to meet the guy and share a few drinks with him, just to give the poor bloke a break from you. And probably see how dense he really is. I mean, a lovely woman like you chasing after him, and he doesn't give a shite? That's new. It'll be on me, don't worry.
I said stop it! I don't want to hear a word of it anymore!
The chair scraps the floor as I abruptly push away from a table to stand. Looming over him with the most piercing glower I can summon, anger undeterred by my own ragged breathing and clenched fist. Looking down at him in the same manner he did to me throughout this chat, the only way I can keep my pride intact in front of him and the other people watching this sudden scene unfold. I hate this man. I hate the fact that he can unsettle me like this, turning everything around what I believe in with his mere words alone. What's more awful? It's how easily those can replace the very ideas I hold dear to me. Not because I am easily swayed, but because in each of them I'm aware there's a sliver of truth. Minutes pass in quiet tension. Some of the dinners have already lost interest in the commotions and return to their meals. A waiter serves our food soon enough and Kylie makes her way back to our table unaware. But before I can take a seat, Luke mutters something. The words spoken in the same biting tone he has assumed since earlier. Despite my opinion of the man, I stop looking at him. His eyes are on his food as he speaks, busying himself with cutting a portion of meat on his plate. But what comes out of him only rings true against my ears, above the din of the coffee house.
Is that all you are? Just some lovesick woman craving for another's affection? I sincerely hope not. Kylie spoke highly of you.
He spears a piece of his food, pops it into his mouth, and that's it. With that, however, he leaves another challenge in the air. Another question. One whole day with this man and I still can't figure what his deal is. This time I don't rise up to it. Doing so means facing a different set of truths. I'm not yet ready to face bitter truths. Those are for me to ponder on later. Not in front of these people or him. His loathsome face and his sneer are the last things I'd ever want to see if that introspection ever happens. But for all of this, I can't bring myself to think of him as someone wholly despicable. The rest of our meal slips by in a silence afterwards. Aside from Kylie's occasional chatter, the whole dinner goes by without another word exchanged between the two of us. Somehow, we managed to make it through the whole thing without triggering another tension-riddled conversation. A good thing, perhaps. One, because Kylie is sitting in front of us, and two, I probably won't be able to hold a paper conversation with my mind heavy with thoughts. We depart from the coffee house just as the evening crowd starts to thin out. The same wordless silence filled our short walk back to the school, except for when Luke gestures at the nearby flower shop and enters it without waiting for Kylie and I. He emerges minutes after carrying a bouquet of daffodils, with the same softened expression back on his face. Unlike the previous ones, he tucks this one away almost as soon as he looks up at us, a moment he's not willing to share. At my confusion, he merely answers with a shrug and continues walking.
For someone important.
I accept it for what it is, if only because it doesn't owe me an explanation. It does leave more questions about him, each one as baffling as the previous one. Those are the last words spoken this evening before we head our own ways. Up until I arrive home, I still can't understand him. Here, however, a whole different set of questions await me. And much like everything today, it comes with the littlest of things. A lone note greets me upon reaching my unit's door. It edges flutter lightly against the faint, warm breeze passing through the small complex. My hand stops short of twisting the knob as I stare at it, though I don't make any moves to take it. Ashton neat script lines its surface. Alright. Dropped by earlier. You were not around. Any ideas where Scary the cat is? I could not contact her. Inspector Abigail has a few questions. LPD stuff something about her dead co-workers. Anyway, let me know how the two of you have been doing. I'll see you later, Hash. We don't know where Isabel is, unfortunately. The message he left short and straight to the point, but not without the underlying hint of friendship. He looks for Isabel apparently. Something about LPD's investigation of her co-worker's death, but ends in formal tone by checking on me. Us. Any other day, the former part of his message will likely prod at the piercing envy I've been holding, while the latter will probably send my heart a-flutter. Little things from him that I want to mean something more. Yet this time, only guilt fills me and my eyes briefly shift toward Isabella's empty unit. Luke's words repeat inside my head as I do so.
Is that all you are? Just some lovesick woman craving for another's affection? I sincerely hope not. Kylie spoke highly of you.
Have I always been like this?
Don't listen to him! God damn it, he's just trying to reach you. This selfish. In truth. Sorry about that. In truth, I've intended to call Ash after that dinner, and if I did not catch him here, invite him to that party like I've planned. There's time, and he's still probably awake at around this hour. But my hands won't move. And perhaps it is for the better. Until I've had time to think this through, it would be best if I distance myself from those I've been clinging tightly to. No! Don't do that! Find a different perspective and see things for what they are. With a soft sigh, I reach for the note and crumple it under my hand. The knob twists open with much ease when I enter this time. Maybe after some introspections, it would be easier. But tomorrow, I have that woman and the mansion to worry about. The night wears on without further incident, despite the great number of thoughts swimming inside my head. Come morning, there's only a hush, a strange sort of stillness unlike the ones greeting me every morning. This one's uneasy, tied with anticipation like a string stretched thin, merely waiting for the proper time to snap. Granted, it does not make my day any less important, but the edge is there. And as expected, the second I step out of my flat, it comes apart, broken by the voices of two squabbling adults echoing from a floor below. The quiet was nice while it lasted. Shame.
What the hell were you thinking?
I wasn't. Ow! Could you let go?
Ashton and Isabella! Yeah! But a few seconds later, they both ascend the stairs with Ashton pulling Isabella by her wrist. She struggles as she should, but is hold on her remains firm. Freeing herself means having to draw blood as she attempts to pry his hand off with her other one or using unnecessary force to push herself away. Neither of which is better than the other, or one could potentially end in an accident while the other means having to hurt him physically. He has the good sense to realize that at least. However, it doesn't take the desperate edge in her voice when she answers Ashton's temper with her own. And so on they go, none the wiser to my presence.
Do you have any idea how much trouble you could get in?
I'm pretty sure that Isabella broke into the house, the mansion.
That's why I'm asking you for help.
Is this what you've been doing these past 3 days? Because this doesn't make your case convincing, Isabella.
Rose died, Ash.
I know. Every single person in Luxembourg knows. It's on the damn news. But that doesn't mean...
People are missing. Some of those are my friends. And BRC's just covering it all up.
You can't just barge into my office and expect me to do anything about it, right off the bat.
Why is the BRC company covering up, though? That's weird.
This isn't a children's game, Isabella. We have procedures. We have to follow protocol. There's red tape all over this case for a reason. We sure as hell don't investigate things just because some stupid letter spooked us.
Ash, you have to believe me this time. If we don't do anything right now, more people will—
It's been a whole week. This stupid letter prank is getting old real fast. I'm sick of it. It was funny the first time, not so much now.
You're the only one that can help me with this, Ash. Even Rebecca won't. All right, you two are awfully loud. What's going on here?
Both of their heads snap up almost in a unison. A displeased frown is on each of their faces, but this is a necessary interruption. What can they do? People still in their units have already taken interest on the commotion, with some taking a peek behind their curtains, while others are bold enough to creak open their doors, if only slightly. If they don't keep it down, pretty soon our landlady will show up. Getting a reprimand from her is the last thing I want to happen. First thing on the Friday morning, even if this is hardly my fault.
Well, if you want to continue this, you two better do it elsewhere. You're disturbing other people.
Don't worry, we're done here.
No, we aren't. Becca, I looked it up. I called them. I visited some of them and...
Which you shouldn't have done in the first place. Isabella, you're going to create more problems for us with what you're doing. A team has already been assigned to it. Leave it to us.
Your precious team is looking at it the wrong way. Becca, it's not just Rose. There are others.
That last bit strikes a chord, propped strongly at a memory. And that vicious smile already etched deeply inside my mind. Image appears clear enough that at the mere mention of it, I stumble on my own question.
What do you mean? The letter, Rebecca! It's not...
It's nothing. If there's really something going on because of that dumb letter, none of us would